Okay, everybody, good afternoon. 4 o'clock on our Tuesday afternoon. I don't even know what day it is. The days are just blending together for me here right now. I got to look out the window to make sure it's day or night. But we've got, what time we got? About 20 after 4 o'clock on our Tuesday afternoon. Here's the very latest on Hurricane Ian. We are now getting hourly updates on the storm from the Hurricane Center because, frankly, we're watching it now on satellite. Right? We're on radar. We can clearly see it now out there on the radar. So that's going to be the trend as we go through the next 48 hours really, because we are expecting to see that continue to move in that direction. Here's the visible satellite. Look at this thing, man. Category 3, 120 mile per hour winds. You can see the eyes getting a little bit covered, not much, but look what it was earlier today. This is a 4-hour loop. So really good looking storm here. It is going to weaken, we think, before it makes landfall. That's the good news. But it's forecast to actually go to 130 mile per hour winds before that happens. It's just under 300 miles south-southwest of Tampa. It's about 250 or so, 240 south of Sarasota at this time. And clearly you can see the eye wall. Very well-shaped eye there. Heaviest rains on the north side, right? Look on the back side. We're actually expecting some dry air to get pulled in here, even as it's coming by us, right? So as a result, the worst part of this storm is going to be getting here before the eye does, okay? Well, the worst part's probably in the eye, but the heaviest rain is going to be coming as the eye goes by. Here's the latest forecast track right now. You can see where we've got, what I've done here is this line here is where the storm has gone. This red line here is where the Hurricane Center thinks it's going to go. And I like to use this because you can see it's moving a little north-northeast, and they may have to move this line over just a little bit. So that's the reason why I like to do that this particular time, because it kind of keeps me see if we're on track, right? If it looks like it's holding this forecast. This is a big shift in the track, guys. There's the forecast for 130 mile per hour winds by late tonight, early tomorrow morning. This is probably before sunrise. Then tomorrow afternoon, as it's approaching land, I mean, guys, that's a major hurricane trying to make landfall. It looks like now towards Sarasota County. All right, the highest surge is going to be south of wherever that eye goes in. It looks like now the surge has dropped for the Tampa Bay area. There'll be some. When it's spinning around out here, it's pushing water up towards the coast, and so the water levels are going to be running high. Tides are running high already just because of the new moon that we recently had. But then look at this. The track used to go up the coast. This one is taking it inland, and that means now we will have more of a wind threat as we work our way inland for the next couple of days. So that means Polk County, Eastern Hillsborough, right to Orlando. So, I mean, think of Charlie, right? People left Tampa and went to Charlie. So we're going to be looking at that particular threat as it moves to the north-northeast. Look at the modeling. The modeling's really come around. This orange line you see here, that's kind of the middle of the GFS and the European. Look at that. They are way off to the right here. So if you took just, you can see what the good agreement that we have right in here, but you can see this is taking it down pretty close to where the Hurricane Center has it right now. The forecast ensembles for the GFS, again, you can see it coming up and then kind of turning as well. This is the watches and warnings. Hurricane warnings now include Polk County, and that's been since earlier today, but they include Polk, Hardy, DeSoto. Highlands County is actually in a tropical storm watch. We think the highest winds will be right in this area here, Sarasota and Manatee County, and perhaps southeastern Hillsborough County as well too. It's not going to be a lot less wind for the Tampa area if this track holds, but it will be a little less. And then certainly tropical storm force winds are expected in Pasco, Hernando, and Citrus County as we go through the next 48 hours or so. Okay, so there's our watches and warnings. Now let's talk surge. The surge numbers have really come down quite a bit for the Tampa Bay area. However, they've gone the opposite direction for the areas to the south of us. So look what's happening now. The Hurricane Center is saying 4 to 7 for Tampa Bay. All right, now this will likely happen before the storm gets here. If the storm comes in here like this, the wind's going to blow out. It's going to blow northeast very hard, 60, 70, 80 miles per hour across the bay. All right, that's going to blow water out of the bay. Initially, I think the water levels will come up a little bit. I don't think it's going to be terrible now if it goes farther to the south. But then the water is going to probably blow out a lot like what we saw with Irma. All right, 8 to 12 foot of storm surge from the middle of Longboat Key southward. I think that higher number, the 12 foot, will be down here towards Sanibel, towards Fort Myers Beach, with the center coming in here. It's going to be right in this area near Port Charlotte where we see the highest storm surge in there. So any of these areas, even up into Port Charlotte, if you're asked to evacuate, please do so, because that looks to be the worst storm surge threat at this time. Let's talk timing of the winds now. So let's go down to Fort Myers. You're talking past midnight tonight, right around that time, tropical storm force winds. So now you're talking winds upper 30s to low 40s. Looks a little early to me, but it's going to get close. This thing is speeding up a little bit. You get in the Tampa area. Sarasota is going to be just before sunrise. Tampa area is going to be right around sunrise. Then you get north as it slows down a little bit. You're going to get up towards Orlando and Citrus County. That's not going to be until later in the afternoon. So tropical storm force winds will be overspreading the area throughout the day tomorrow. Well, tonight and tomorrow. This is 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. The yellow is tropical storm force winds. So you see that for the Tampa area. These winds in the orange headed towards Fort Myers and Sanibel, that's 6 a.m. That's 60 mile per hour winds or so. All right, hurricane force winds are here in the red. They won't really move on shore down into Sarasota County, Venice area until it looks like now about 4 o'clock on Wednesday afternoon. This, by the way, is a forecast that we get from the Hurricane Center. And you see where they're taking it? You see all the hurricane force winds? Now, Anna Maria, it's blowing from the east, northeast. Venice is blowing from the southwest, right? Counterclockwise flow. Look at Tampa. That's a northeast wind coming across the bay. That blows water out, but that puts quite a bit of wind over in the St. Pete side, on the east side of Pinellas County here, right? So you initially have some water pushed up against the land before it can get out into the bay and out into really the Gulf of Mexico. This is 2 a.m. Thursday morning. This is tomorrow night into Thursday morning. You see the 60 mile per hour winds, 50 to 60s are spreading inland, and the hurricane is actually shrinking. The hurricane force winds will be shrinking. But still, look at this. I mean, we could easily see hurricane force winds, which is 74 miles per hour or higher, especially from Tampa southeast through Hillsborough County, Manatee, Hardy County, and then into southern Polk County. All right, we're going to carry this out a little bit toward 10 a.m. on Thursday. You see how it's shrinking, right? When hurricanes move on shore and they weaken, the wind field, especially the yellow that you see here, it spreads out as it weakens. So you get less of this high wind, you get a little bit more of this, and you get a lot more of that. So it's going to be a windy day either way, all the way through Thursday. You can almost see it expanding out here. And that's just something that happens when hurricanes fall apart. Now, this is 6 p.m., center near Orlando. That's Thursday. That's 50 to 60 mile per hour winds with higher gusts in that area. You still see we've got tropical storm force winds back in the Tampa area. Remember, the wind's going like this, right? It's going to be going like that, okay? So, and that stays around the center like that. So as you look at that timing, you got to keep that in mind, and that's what the winds are going to do. All right, now let's talk wind speeds. This is tonight at 10 o'clock. Not bad. Pick a city. Teens, right? Most areas are looking good. Let's go to 3 a.m. tomorrow morning. Starting to see some winds in the 20s. It's a northeast wind. St. Pete's going to have more wind than anybody else just because it's coming across the open bay right there, right? But getting breezy by sunrise. This is sunrise right here. We're in the mid-20s for sustained winds. Lakeland a little less than that. Now, going through the morning hours on Wednesday, this is 11 a.m., that's when we really start to see the winds pick up. Now, Hurricane Center says we could have 40 mile per hour winds already. I think we'll have gusts there, certainly by 11 o'clock, but the sustained winds will still be in the 30s. And then here we go into the afternoon. Sustained winds, you can see they're starting to turn a little bit more to the northeast in Sarasota. Same thing in St. Pete, but well into the 40s. Tampa, that looks a little low for me, but still, you get the idea. Now look at this. Look at that. This is our model we run here at the station, but it's got the center coming in down here, moving across southern Manatee and right across Hardy County, right? And then look at all the wind flowing around it in that direction there. So Sarasota's got sustained in the 50s with gusts in the 60s and 70s. And you know what? St. Pete, Tampa, all these are very similar to that as well. Little less as you get closer to the immediate coast. Now, when we get to Thursday morning before sunrise, the wind's going to start to turn. Here along the coast, it's going to turn to the north and then a little northwest down in Sarasota. That's a pretty good wind. And when Irma did this, it was a similar location here. We had some really high gusts out here because it's coming across the Gulf and there's nothing to slow it down. So yeah, winds will slow a little bit, upper 30s to low 40s, But I think it's going to be really gusty on Thursday morning here along the immediate coast, and the tides are going to be running higher because of that. Initially, the tide will get blow out, and then it'll come back a little bit. I don't think it's going to be terrible. It's not going to be a major surge issue at that point. And then we get into Thursday morning, 11 a.m., and things are starting to quiet down. Here we go to Thursday afternoon, 6 p.m. You can see our winds are all coming back down. All right, now let's show you what that forecast model I just showed you. Here's what it looks like if you were looking at the radar. First of all, we've got a tornado watch down south right now. These outer rain bands you see here will produce tornadoes. Some of them will. Okay, not all of it, but we will have a tornado threat through tomorrow midday at least. Here is tonight, well, tomorrow morning at, let me back this up. I didn't put a stop here. This is 3 in the morning. See the rain bands coming through here over Tampa, over Manatee, Sarasota, Polk. Look at the Highlands County. That's a tornado threat, so it's in the middle of the night. Please make sure you have your weather radio ready to go, right? That thing's going to be going off tonight. Then we get tomorrow morning around 9:30 in the morning. There's the eye. It's very close to Fort Myers and Sanibel. Sanibel's right there. All right? Very heavy rainfall and some gusty winds. We're thinking sustained winds in Tampa in the 30s at that point, but pushing through there with east to northeast winds. Now, this is 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Wednesday. So basically Wednesday during the day, the weather's going to go downhill all day. It'll just get more rain, we'll get heavier winds and higher gusts throughout the day. 41 mile per hour winds is what the model's saying, gusts in the 50s and 60s. Very heavy rainfall. See where the center is down here? Look where all the heavy rainfall is. It's here. It's north and west of the center. Okay, so that's going to be pushing all that heavy rain through the area during the day on Wednesday. Now, Wednesday evening, it's wrapping this heavy rain on the back side, so now you continue to see rain right in here. Tampa, St. Pete, Bradenton, Sarasota, Pasco County, most of Hillsborough County, all of Pinellas County. Most of our area is going to get very, very heavy rainfall. It's been raining. Let me go back. This is 11:30 p.m. Wednesday. Let's go back to the sunrise. Look at the rain already starting sunrise, and then look all day through 11:30. Very heavy rainfall. So that's, almost 24 hours of very heavy rainfall, especially for Tampa and points northward, Pasco, Hernando, Citrus. Okay, and then here is 5 o'clock in the morning on Thursday morning. Center's up there northwest of Orlando, somewhere in this area, and you can see the rain is tapering off because remember that dry air is coming in behind it. So breezy and drier. It's actually going to feel, hate to say this, but it's going to feel comfortable. Don't really hate to say that, but it's going to feel comfortable on the back side Thursday and into Thursday night and Friday because we'll have the drier air behind it. Now, I can't stress this enough. We still, because the storm surge threat has come down for the Tampa area, down to 4 to 7, which is still high, but I think that's going to come down a touch. Rainfall flooding is going to be a major issue. If you live in an area that floods because of heavy rain, you're likely to have some flooding issues through the day on Wednesday into Wednesday night. All right? 15 to 20 inches. Some areas could see almost 2 feet, 24, 25 inches of rainfall. This has shifted a little bit to the south. Manatee, Sarasota County, southeastern Hillsborough, western Polk County. But there's going to be very, very heavy rainfall in here. The rivers will flood, and it takes time for those rivers to flood. I'm kind of really concerned about the Anclote River because I think that we could see heavier rain in that area. So if you live along the Anclote, but even Myakka, of course, all these rivers down here, which are basically all at flood stage now, and the storm hasn't even gotten here, please make plans to evacuate if you haven't, or at least keep a very close eye on those river levels. They will be swelling, they will be flooding in a pretty bad style by the time we get towards Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and probably take through all next week to gradually come down. Okay, so the river flooding always lags the actual rainfall by a day or two, but that is going to be one of the major issues that we have out there. Okay, that's it for right now. We're about 4:34. Let me see if I can get to some of your questions. I want to keep the radar up right here so you can see it. Praying that the worst stays out of Tampa. It looks like the rain will be the worst part. Yeah, it probably will be, I think, but we're certainly going to get some gusty winds. And you get that saturated ground, which we pretty much have, and you add wind on it, you're going to have a lot of trees down. So we're going to have some power outages, obviously. So get those things charged up. Everything that you can charge up, you want to get charged up right now while you can. Let's see some other questions here. What does the flooding risk mean in terms of danger? Well, flooding is the number one killer of weather-related deaths. Is the number one weather-related death. Some kind of water, anything involving water. So, yeah, you know, usually you don't drive through water that you don't know how deep it is. You just turn around, don't drown. That's the saying that we always say. And if you're in an area, as I said, that you're known to flood, it's prone to flood when you have heavy rainfall, not storm surge, or both, but certainly rainfall is what we're talking about right now. Then that is going to have an issue. Don't want it here in Bradenton either. That's right. Yeah, that's the thing when, you know, when it shifts from one place to another, the people in the one place are thinking, oh, thank goodness, but the people in the other place are like, oh, no, we don't want it. And that is the nature of it, yeah. You know, I saw a comment today, somebody was talking about it. I wish everybody would, you know, because when the track was trying to take it up right into Tampa like this, that's the worst case scenario for storm surge, because you get this storm surge blowing right into the bay, right? And that really hasn't had, we had a similar setup in 1946. It wasn't as strong of a storm, but yesterday it was looking like the 1921 Tarpon Springs hurricane, and that's the last time we had a major hit right in that sweet spot that floods us really bad up inside the bay. And so I got a note from a guy today that says, well, why is nobody talking about Donna? And I'm tired of hearing people say it's 100 years since we've had this type of hurricane. Well, Donna went inland. Donna did something like this. And so Donna is one that would blow water out of the bay. Okay, when we say that 100-year storm, the 101, it was 1921, right? We're talking about a storm that comes in up here, and the counterclockwise flow around it pours water right into the bay. And what happened was, this thing is drawing way off the bat here, but it made landfall right at Tarpon Springs. And so that was the worst case scenario. And that's what we're referring to there. Oh, good question. Will the rain produce flooding like Houston a few years ago, or just driving hazards? There'll be some areas that have some flooding, but nothing like Hurricane Charlie. Hurricane Charlie had 45 to 60 inches of rainfall. It sat over top of the area and went around in a circle for 4 days. This will not do that. This will slow down a little bit, but it will not do that. So I don't expect that type of flooding, but certainly we're going to have some areas that get water, you know, because you just live in a low-lying area and it doesn't handle water very well. So we will have some of that. And again, I can't stress those rivers flooding later in this event. This is my first hurricane that we were staying put. Will Pasco get heavy winds? Yes. Yes, if you saw what the map that I was showing you, the winds that we're thinking there in Pasco, right now you have a tropical storm warning. So that would mean winds of about 40 to maybe 50 mile per hour winds with some higher gusts. You get down in the Tampa, Pinellas, Hillsborough area, Polk County, now you're talking some hurricane force winds. Generally, I would say those winds would be in the 50s, perhaps in the 60s, with gusts in the 70s, perhaps into the 80s. Hernando covers the same thing. You're very welcome, Elizabeth. I hope you do very well with all of this. I'm sure everybody will do pretty good. Just, you know, take it easy out there. It's not fun, you know, but we'll get through this together. It's fine, you know. It's, you know, it's just one of those things, man. And as a meteorologist, we kind of dread this, right? You know, when I was young, I wanted to get out and cover these things and go see them, and I'm still interested in them, don't get me wrong, but, you know, as a property owner, you don't want to see this, right? You don't want to see this. And after so many years of doing this, you don't want to see people get hurt by this and their property get damaged too. So we're hoping for the best, hoping this thing just falls apart. I don't think that's going to happen, but definitely think we're going to have some area get hit hard. How bad do you think it will be in Ocala? Oh, that's a good question. Not terrible in Ocala. Tropical storm force winds. Always a tornado threat. Look, there's pretty much a tornado threat. There's the tornado watch that's right now, right? And the storm could go something like this. So that tornado watch is pretty much going to come just like that over the next 24 hours, right? So pretty much everybody's going to see it. When the center of the storm gets by you, like north of you or with you, then it will go away. Not go away, but then the threat will go away, okay? There's a closer eye look at it. You can see, look at Key West, man, watching this thing go by. And take a look at that. You can see, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit. You can see how this thing has jogged throughout the day today, and it usually does that. And it's probably always doing that when we are watching it via satellite, but you can see it so much better when you're looking at it on the radar. So we're about 10 minutes, 15 minutes or so away from a 5 o'clock update, which should give us a new track. Again, right now you can see the track is taking it in somewhere around Sarasota. Let's see if they shift that for the 5 o'clock. In fact, I think it's a little less than that. Before I let you go, I want to show you Mount Dora. Mount Dora looks like you've got tropical storm force winds coming through with heavy rainfall, tornado threat. I think most of the hurricane force winds will have fallen apart by the time it gets to Mount Dora. But could you get a gust in the 70s? Yeah, certainly could. Manasota Key, I think you really need to watch that because you're going to be pretty close to some good storm surge. I think that's in the 8 to 12 area for storm surge. The highest, I think, that 12 is going to be down towards Port Charlotte area and Sanibel. Although Sanibel kind of gets it's a little side shore there, but you're still going to get a ton of a surge there. Speaking of surge, let me see if I can show you that here. Let's go to Max. What do we got here? Okay, tornado watch. Looks like they just issued a new one. Let me keep you right here for a minute. Where's our tornado watch? Did they extend it? There they go. So, yeah, look at that. How's that for timing? So you get the idea. Was this one here? Now they've extended up to here, and they're going to continue to do that and take it up here. I do think the better chance initially late tonight and early tomorrow morning before the sun comes up in the Tampa area and Polk County, and then it's going to be over on the East Coast here. Okay. So that is the latest tornado watch. Real fast, I want to show you some of well, you're not seeing it now. How about that? You are not seeing it. Okay, I can't show you that. All right, I'll take you back there. But what I was going to show you is some of the surge products that are coming out right now, and it looks like, again, that biggest chance for surge is going to be from Longboat Key southward down towards the Sanibel area. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching. We've got a 5 o'clock update now. We will be doing the 5 o'clock show here at WTSP from the station through 6:30. We have a crew already over at our backup. Now, we've had backup plans forever because we live, our station's right here on the water on the Gandy Bridge area in Pinellas County, so we have to evacuate. Thinking we probably will be okay here now, but we're still evacuating because we need to. Number one, we're being asked to. And number two, we will have to keep everybody safe just in case. We will be broadcasting from there. We will likely start tomorrow morning at 4 in the morning or so and just go wall to wall from then. So as soon as you wake up tomorrow morning, you may start to hear some storms out there. You may start to hear, not a lot of thunder. We don't get a lot of thunderstorms in hurricanes, believe it or not. But we do get a lot of rain. We do get some tornadoes in there. And the winds will just gradually be increasing. So when you wake up tomorrow morning, go ahead and turn us on, and we'll be basically covering this through the duration, through at least, I would say, midday on Thursday. Okay, guys, that's it. Don't forget all of our social media platforms on 10 Tampa Bay. Mine as well, too, Bobby Deskins Weather. And don't forget my YouTube page, same thing, Bobby Deskins Weather. See you at 5 o'clock, guys. Finish up those preps. Get everything done by 5 o'clock today if you can.